Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's so wonderful to be here with you. Today's class is going to be really fun. We've got lots of exploration, some options for deeper poses. We'll be playing with eccentric contraction, and more on that in a moment. Just take a few deep, spacious breaths. And imagine pulling all the energy out of the mind and letting it sink into the heart. Every single breath is an opportunity to refocus. Imagine your day had all these hooks in you, all these things you were doing and planning and thinking about, and we're just slowly unhooking all those tethers so we can arrive on our mat and be fully present in our yoga class, in our bodies, in this moment. On your next few exhales, notice a sense of the body softening. And maybe the physical body literally softens. Maybe you notice some tension in the neck and the shoulders, and I give you permission to even slightly slouch. Really slightly, so that you're not working hard in the back. Yeah, that was nice. Emily just sort of wiggled in her seat a little bit. You can do that, just softening. The more we can soften, the easier it is for those hooks to just release. It's like they have nothing to grab onto. So just take a few more breaths, letting the breath guide you to this heart space where you're free of the rest of your day. Oh my goodness, Aries-san, wow! Thank you for being here, all the way from Japan. We're centering, so can just jump right in. And we'll continue to work towards center as we move, right? Because we're yogis, we're good at doing two things at once, being in our hearts and also functional in our bodies and in the world. If you are enjoying music with us today, you can hit play on the first track. It should say Gold Flow. And again, make sure it's on repeat. Take one more breath to the heart, just for good measure. And then just gently start to rock the chin from side to side. As you rock the chin from side to side, notice any sensations on the side of the neck, down into the collarbones, down towards the top of the shoulders. And then allow the movement to get bigger if the body wants that. And it might not. I have a really tight neck, so sometimes less is more for me. You have to listen And then just start to play with what happens when the chin reaches a little further forward, a little more to the side. Allow the shoulder to start to follow. So as the chin reaches over to the side, there might be a sense of that back shoulder lifting a little bit. And notice the connections traveling down into the rib cage and the side body. Anything is fair game here. So I'm a guide. I'm going to help point out things that might be fun to explore, but you can also start to follow your own sensation, play with circling the spine, and feel the connection. Now, we're not just moving the head, right? We're moving the whole torso, and you can feel how the circling of the spine opens the side body, now all the way down into the hips. Feel free at any time to allow the arm to start to follow the spine. You don't have to make it do anything, right? The arm, it's attached. And so as you circle the spine, maybe there's a sense of the arm as an extension of the spine, helping you lengthen, helping you circle fuller. Don't worry, you'll have time to use the other arm. So just enjoy one side right now. And notice as you add in the arm, anything that changes in the upper body. Maybe there's more freedom through the neck. You can gaze up and back. And then switch arms, and it doesn't have to be symmetrical. You don't have to do exactly the same thing, but notice this side now. The other arm is an extension of the spine. Sometimes the shoulders feel very different, so honor that. And let the arm help you explore more fully. So it's not just decoration, right? It's a part of the exploration. Try reaching the arm, lifting the arm, let it pull the spine. Can play with following, letting the gaze follow the palm, bringing the neck into it a little bit more. And at any time, the legs can become free, and that might mean something different for everyone. But if there's a sense of the front of the body wanting to open, let the legs unfurl. Hi Octavia, welcome. If at any time you feel yourself floating into a different position, that's okay. You can allow freedom of exploration here. Try the other leg if you are doing something with the leg. Anything is fair game. You can also just stay upright and let the movement be smaller. This is going to be different for everyone. And we'll take just a few more breaths to eventually make our way back to where we began. No need to rush. Try to treat the pathway back to your seat just like you treated that movement exploration, right? Feel each of those little steps. Nice, Liz. And then just allow the body to rest for a moment in stillness, and notice any different sensation inside. Maybe there's a sense of tingling, just energy starting to flow, or just feeling calmer. And our sequence will start on our back. I had to think about it for a second. What day is it? So come to your back, but make sure your right arm is reaching towards me so that we're all on the same page. And just because it feels good, stretch the fingers and toes apart, reaching long through the body, and have a sense of the hands and the feet being connected, right? So as you reach the hands and feet apart, the whole body stretches. And then slowly start to drag the heels back to the glutes. Set the feet down and bring the fingertips behind the ears. So I said we were going to explore some eccentric contraction. So I want to explain what that is for a moment. Slowly start to lift the heart and the head just like a standard crunch. And notice the front of the body shortening and tightening. That's muscle contraction. Now slowly start to release and feel how the front of your body stays tight and contracted as those muscles lengthen out. Right? Take a few pulses like that just to explore, right? The front of the body is contracted, it's active, but as you release the head down with control, it can lengthen. And we'll come back to this in a few different poses, but notice how you don't just flop on the ground, right? You slowly release the tension, lengthening the front of the body. Now reach hands towards the heels. Start to push down into the feet and the hands and the shoulders to lift the hips. And instead of a bridge, think of yourself as a hammock. And just let the hips sway from side to side. So not really worried about a back bend here. Just playing with activating through the legs and the spine. And then release the hips back down. And take a couple of pulses, pressing into hands and feet to lift and lower. Noticing what's connecting with the earth to give you support. And then release the spine back down. Walk the feet just a little bit wider. And then slowly start to let the knees open to the sides. Kind of like a butterfly pose, but the feet are wide. And then lift the knees back to center. And do this a few times. And now notice the eccentric contraction in the inner thighs. So as the knees open off to the side, they don't just fall, right? There's the hip adductors are on, but lengthening. And just take a few of these slow butterflies to feel the support of the inner thighs as they pull the knees up and then control the release of the knees down. The next time the knees open, pause, reach the arms overhead, and imagine you're uprooting your rib cage from your pelvis, and there's just this lengthening from the torso. And then let the knees drop to the right and drop to the left, just windshield wipering the knees from side to side. The next time the knees drop to the right, that should be towards the screen. Push into the left foot a little extra so you can roll completely onto the right side. And then hug left knee and left elbow towards one another. And then lengthen the hand and the foot apart. And do this a few times. And again, notice that sense of eccentric contraction. As the elbow and knee pull together, the top of the body contracts, right? But then it stays strong as you slowly lengthen the hand and the foot apart. The next time they squeeze together, plant the left hand in front of the heart, reach the left foot long, and slowly push into the left hand to come up to seated with the left leg extended. Parvatajana Shirshasana setup. Reach over the left leg and bend the left knee a little bit, just unloading the side body. And then kick into the left heel, rising up, reach up with both arms. And then plant the right hand behind you. Push down into the knee and the foot to slowly lift the hips. And then release the hips back down. Bend the left knee. Reach over the left leg. And then push into the left heel, rising up and over. Root the right hand. Lift the hips. So we'll flow between those two postures, reaching over the left leg. And then propelling with that left leg to open up the whole left side body. And just take a few deep, smooth breaths here. Hey, Jessie, so glad you could join us. And the next time your hips are up, pause there for a moment. Reach the hand and foot apart. Take a breath through the left side. And then lower the hips. You'll remember this transition from last week if you were here. Place the sole of the right foot down. Place the left foot behind you. And I'm going to demo this one time if you haven't done it before. Power into the right foot and hop over the left leg. So you're actually pivoting on that left leg and you'll be facing the opposite direction. I know, Aries, like, what just happened? So take a couple rounds to play with that. You should end up in a low lunge facing the opposite end of the mat. Yes, nice, Jessie. You guys got it. Okay, so drop the back knee, tuck the back toes. Every time we come to this lunge, let's play with having the back toes tucked because that's going to help us with our toe stand later. And just take a few slow hula hoops in this lunge. And don't worry about stretching anything here. We're just really trying to lubricate the joint and get some mobilization between the femur and the hip socket. And then press down into the front foot to support yourself on the way up. Lift your arms to a cactus and start to kick into the front heel to press the hips back. Do that a couple times and just notice that relationship as you push into the right heel, how it sends the hips back. And notice any sense of the core enlivening and strengthening. You can even put your hands on the core to feel what's turning on to support you through that movement. And the next time you start to kick into the heel, let's make it a little more complicated. Start to reach forward with the hands at the same time, right? And then pulse between those two shapes. And I really liked it. Last week we called this centering your chi. And it was kind of a joke, but I do really feel this strength in my center when I kick into the heel and reach forward. The next time you kick into the heel and reach forward, pause there, feel the contraction in the front of the body, and keep that contracted as you bend into the front knee. Push down to slowly lengthen the front of the body as it stays contracted, right? So there's our eccentric contraction again. And so now we're going to pulse between those two shapes, folding forward, centering your chi, staying contracted in the front of the body as you open the heart in Anjaneyasana. Just do a couple more of those. And the next time you fold forward, plant the left hand off to the side, bend into the right knee, and slowly start to step the left foot through that space. So now you're seated facing the other edge of the mat. Nice, everybody. Take a gentle twist towards the right. Modified Urdhva Matsyendrasana. The hips are nice and wide. Gaze over the right shoulder. And then cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Bend the left knee a little bit and just take some little rocks here, massaging the outside of the right hip. And sometimes when we get here, it's like, yes, I just want to stretch my hip rotators. Don't do that, right? We're just loving on ourselves right now, not trying to stretch anything too deep. We're just warming up. And then extend the right leg out. Bend both knees, dragging the heels towards you so you can sit up nice and tall. And just start to release the spine over the legs. And then kick into the heels, lengthening the legs, and let that propel you back up to seated. Drag heels, bend knees, melt forward. kick into the heels to roll up. Try doing it a little slower, Ari, and see if you can get this sense of the spine really slowly stacking. Heels. And the next time you slowly roll up, roll all the way back. Hands can be overhead or down by the sides, whatever is more comfortable. So now we're back at the beginning. We'll go through that same sequence on the second side. We should be pointed the opposite direction, right? It should be the opposite as what we did before. And so take a moment to just land in this new Shavasana. Just take a few deep breaths, letting everything we did soak in. Notice any sense of enlivening through the right side of the body. And now let's bring balance. So slowly start to drag the heels back. Planting the soles of the feet, reach the hands towards the heels and slowly push down into shoulders, hands, and feet to lift the hips. And then lower them back down. Lift one more time. And then let the hips sway from side to side. So you're not going to want the hips to be too high here. Modified bridge pose, which I'm now naming hammock pose. And then slowly release the spine down and let the knees drop off to the sides with control. Slow butterfly. And then point the knees back up with control. And just take a few of these, allowing the hips to start to open in this really supported way where the knees aren't just dropping. The next time the knees open, pause, reach arms overhead, and then just take windshield wipers from side to side. The next time the knees point to the left, push into the right foot to slowly land on the left side body, and then hug the right knee and right elbow together. Feel the right side of the body contracting, and keep that control as you reach hand and foot apart. Just take a couple of pulses there. The next time they squeeze together, plant the right hand and then reach the right foot long, push into the right hand to slowly come up into our Parvritajana Shirshasana setup. Bend the right knee, reach over the right foot, kick into the right heel, floating up, plant the left hand, let the hips lift. And then lower the hips, bend the knee, reach to the right, and just start to flow between these two movements. You don't have to go very high. Just start to feel what the body wants and try to get a sense of ease and support as you move. It's like a dance. The next time the hips lift, pause there, take a breath, feel right hand and foot stretching apart. And then lower the hips, right hand behind you, sole of left foot plants. Push into the left foot to hop over the right leg. And I'm going to do that again. So oh nice, you got it on the first try. Way to go, guys. And so here we are in our low lunge with the left leg in front, just in case things got crazy. And that's okay, just switch legs. Tuck the right toes and take some slow hula hoops with the pelvis. And imagine your end range is like 100%. Just be at like 50%, right? And try to find a sense of fluidity in the pelvis. Go the opposite direction. And then press down into the left foot to slowly rise up, open the arms to cactus. And then here's our centering our chi moment. Kick into the left heel and bow forward. Bring your awareness to your navel and just notice any sense of support there. Bend and extend a couple of times, and then when you're ready, you'll add the arms in, right? So as the leg extends, the hands can reach forward, and it should almost feel like you get twice as much power when you add the reaching of the arms. It's like there's more hollowing through the front of the body. And the next time you hollow forward, keep that contraction in the core, power into the left foot, and slowly let the front of the body lengthen and reach so you have so much support in the front of the spine as you open for your back bend. And then center your chi. Again, that's just a joke. This isn't really Tai Chi. And then bend into the front knee and open up in your back bend. Move at your own pace, just exploring the contraction forward and then the eccentric contraction as you open up. The next time you bow forward, plant the right hand off to the right hand side, bend into the left knee, and slide the right foot through. Twist to the left, modified Urdhva Matsyendrasana, and then cross the left ankle over the right quad and just massage through the hips a little bit, rocking from side to side. Uncross the legs, sit up tall, bend the knees, feel the heels dragging back so the back of the legs wake up and engage, and let the spine drip forward. Kick into the heels, extend the legs, and let the spine stack. Take a few repetitions of this churning Paschimottanasana. Tune into your breath. Make sure you can breathe nice and smooth as you move. The next time you roll up, allow your whole body to extend and come all the way onto your back. And just pause. Take a few deep breaths. So that's our sequence. We'll be repeating that a few more times, and of course adding on. And we'll move a little faster through things now that your body has learned them. If you're following along with the playlist, now it's time to go to the next track. It should be called Initiation. We'll all meet in Shavasana. Take a couple more deep breaths. Imagine as you breathe here and let go of your thoughts, the body is remembering the sequence, even if the mind isn't. Drag the heels back, reach hands towards feet, lift the hips, just take one sway from side to side, and then set the spine back down. Let the knees slowly open off to the side. Bring fingertips behind ears. Slowly crunch up to the center. And then crunch over to the left side and lift the left knee towards the left elbow. Set the foot down and crunch to the other side. Doing a little frog crunch here. Go from side to side a couple more times. And then after the next time the right side crunches, come to center, set the head down, reach arms overhead, windshield wiper the legs, and have a sense of the top knee really lengthening that whole top side body. As the knee reaches forward, maybe you even feel the armpit and the fingertips stretch away from that knee. Next time the knees fall to the right, push into the left foot to roll onto the right side. And just take one crunch here, elbow to knee, and reach out. And then take one more, plant the left hand, reach the left foot long, bend left knee, just reach right on over, stretching through the right side body. Push into the left heel, root the right hand, lift the hips, and let's add on here. So hover the left leg. That might be enough for you, or you can add that side body crunch, bringing elbow to knee and lengthening back out. Hips down, bend knee, reach over. Let's repeat that one more time. Lift up to flash dance, and then just add a little crunch. And it might be really little as the hips are still warming up. And then set the hips down, and we go right into our transition. Plant the right foot, plant the left hand, and then hop the right foot over the left leg. Nice. It gets easier every time. Yeah, the less you think, the easier it becomes. Take a hula hoop here. And then push down into the feet to rise up. Make sure the back toes are tucked. And go right into pressing the hands forward, kicking into the heel, bowing. Bend into the front knee and use all that power to open up with a lot of support through the front of the spine. Do that one more time and then we'll add on. So the next time you're lifted in Anjaneyasana, start to open. Reach the arms to T and open to the left and have a sense of the hips squaring forward, the body opening to the side. With the back toes tucked, hover the back knee and then spin the back heel down so you're in Virabhadrasana 2 without opening the hips too much. Lift the left heel, open the left toes to the side, goddess pose, just shift from side to side, really trying to feel a sense of gliding in the hips. And if the hips aren't gliding, try walking the feet in just a little bit. If you feel too much sensation in the knees, try walking the feet out a little bit. And take some time to find your optimal goddess pose, because we are going to be coming back to this a few more times. And so now turn the left toes in once again. So you're back in that Virabhadrasana 2, but play with it in the same way, where you're rocking from side to side, feeling the hips gliding, not letting anything lock up here. And the next time you shift to the right, play with reaching the hands towards the short edge of the mat and letting the back foot rise, just like a baby warrior 3. And then push down into the right foot, pull the elbows down, let the left knee lift, heron pose. Slowly start to reach the hands forward and that same foot back. And now you might have a little deeper Virabhadrasana 3. Find a drishti. And then set the back foot down and open to Virabhadrasana 2. Let's repeat that balancing sequence again. So start with goddess. Just shift the weight from side to side. Again, check in with the knees, check in with the hips. If there's too much sensation in any of those joints, adjust your stance until everything can glide. And then turn the back toes in, and we'll do Virabhadrasana 2, letting the hips slide from right to left. And the next time you shift the weight over to the right, reach the hands overhead, let the left foot lift, and then power down into the right foot, bring the left knee up, heron pose. Pause, take a breath, find your drishti. And then start to reach the hands and foot apart, returning to Virabhadrasana 3. But this time allow yourself to sway a little bit, bend the right knee, make sure nothing's gripping. Set the back toes down. Set the left hand down underneath the left shoulder and lift the right hand away from me so you're twisting into the right leg. Drop the back knee and start to circle the right fingertips forward and then up and back. And as you circle the arm, notice how the spine can lengthen and open, just following that reaching of the arm. If you want to take it a little bit deeper here, the next time the arm reaches forward, start to kick into the right leg. Let the arm reach back. And then bend the knee. And do that one last time. And then bend into the right knee. Press into the left hand. Slide the left foot through, just like we did before. Nice. Great. And then twist to the right. Christy, you already knew where to go. Take a breath. And then right ankle over left quad, bend the left knee. And this time we've got an option. This is going to help us with toe stand. Play with lifting the arms here and hovering the left foot. If that feels too intense in that left hip flexor, put the hands back down or put the heel back down. But try to feel a sense of muscles engaging when you're in this position. It can be helpful to have the left heel a little further forward. Make sure you can breathe. If you can't breathe, don't do it. And then uncross the legs, and we'll take some churning Paschimottanasana. So bend the knee, release the spine forward, kick into the heels, roll up. Whenever you're ready, you can roll all the way onto the back, but no rush. Maybe you're enjoying those turns. And we'll meet on our back, just soaking in that sequence. Now you know exactly what we're going to do. We'll repeat that exact sequence on the second side. And just take a few deep breaths to plant the seed. And that you can flow through those postures with an ease, a fluidity, checking out of the mind and fully arriving in the body. And just take a couple breaths to the heart, planting those seeds. Drag the heels back, reach hands towards heels, press down to lift the hips, and then just gently sway them from side to side. Release one vertebra down at a time. Slowly allow the knees to open so you're controlling their descent. And then fingertips behind ears, crunch up to the center. And then crunch to the right and let the right knee drag towards the right elbow. And same thing over to the left. And then do that just a couple times, these little frog crunches. The elbow and knee don't have to touch. Try to just find an ease rather than a goal. And then come back to center, reach arms overhead, and take your windshield wipers, lengthening the top side of the body. The next time the knees fall over to the left, push into the right foot, rolling all the way onto the left side. Reach right hand and foot apart, and then draw them together. One more time. Power into the right hand, reach the right foot long, coming all the way up to your seated straddle. Bend the right knee, reach over the right leg, and then push into the right heel to rise all the way up to flash dance. Option to hover the left leg and take a little crunch here, and then extend, hips down, and we'll do that one more time. So reaching over the right leg, pushing into the right heel, rising up, lengthening. Stay right here or add your crunch in only if that doesn't create tension. And then we'll go right into that transition. So hips lower, right hand plants, left foot hops over the right. So we're facing the other direction, left foot's forward. You guys are getting it. Awesome. Push down into the feet to slowly rise up. Make sure the right toes are tucked underneath. Kick into the left heel, reach forward, finding your center, and then keep strong as the left knee bends, and you can unfurl the spine. Repeat that one more time, moving nice and slow. Beautiful. Nice, Dave. And then the next time you open up, reach the arms to T and slowly start to twist the spine open to the right. And just notice how the hips are mostly closed, but the spine is starting to open. We're going to keep that relationship as we push into the back toes and let the back leg extend, bringing the back heel down. So we have like a closed hip Virabhadrasana 2. Take a moment, check out the feet. We'll be coming back to these feet right after our goddess pose. So right toes turn out, and then shift the weight from side to side so you can allow the pelvis to start to glide. And adjust the feet until you find that distance. If they're too tight, the knees are going to feel it. If they're too wide, the hips are going to feel stunted. And then turn the right toes in once again and keep that gliding going. So once we find that goddess pose, that's generally a really great foot positioning or foot distance for our Vira 2. The next time the weight shifts over the left leg, reach the arms overhead, let the left foot hover, and then right knee up, elbows down, heron pose. Pause, find a drishti, take a breath. And then start to press the right foot back, reach the arms forward, lengthening, Virabhadrasana 3, but gently sway so that left leg doesn't lock up. And then let the right foot land, returning into Virabhadrasana 2, pause. Open up, goddess pose, shift from side to side, and we'll just do it one more time. Let the right toes turn in, keep shifting the weight, finding that fluidity, and then shift the weight over the left foot, reach long, and then knee up, elbows down, heron pose, take a breath, find your balance and your drishti, circle that right ankle. Reach the arms forward and the foot back. Bend the left knee. Just gently sway from side to side. And then let the foot land. Open the arms to T. Pause. Take a breath. Push into the ball of the right foot. Reach the right hand down. And drop the right knee. Start to reach the right fingertip or left fingertips forward, up and back. And again, notice how the arm allows the spine to move, allows the spine to lengthen and then open to the left. And then you can add in the leg if you want. Next time the fingertips reach forward, kick into the left heel. Keep the leg extended as you circle back, and then bend the knee as you circle down and forward. Extend and bend, just opening through the outside of that left leg, but it doesn't have to straighten. Sometimes that can be quite intense. Really nice fluid movement, Estella. The next time the knee bends, let the right hand walk over to the side, slide the right leg through, and then twist to the left. Take a couple of breaths. And then left ankle over right quad. We start by rocking from side to side, but then feel free to bring the core into it by lifting the hands or lifting the feet or lifting both. And just make sure the hip flexors aren't doing all the work. Notice a sense of support on the back of the pelvis, the back of the spine, the front of the spine. And then uncross the legs, place the hands down, and drag the heels back, just releasing through the spine. Check in with the hip flexors. Sometimes that figure four can just be too much for the front of the hips. So if you feel that area of the body tightening, take it easy, because we'll be doing a few more figure fours and we don't want to come out with tight hip flexors. And whenever you're ready, you'll unroll to the back, but no rush. And so, just take a few deep breaths here. If you need to grab a sip of water, you can. I do. And if you're following along with the music, now you can go to the final track, Cirrus. So we'll be going through that sequence again, and it's not really going to change, so we'll have options for some challenging poses. And then we'll try to get a sense of flow, just moving a little faster through the sequence now that you've done it 2 times on each side. When you're ready, drag the heels back, reach hands towards heels. Let the hips lift and just gently shift the weight from foot to help rock the spine. And then slowly release one vertebra at a time. Let the knees open off to the sides with control. Fingertips behind ears. Roll up to center. Roll up to the left elbow towards knee. Roll up to the right elbow towards knee. One more time each side. Back to center, reach arms overhead, windshield wiper the legs, and then windshield the knees to the right, push into the left foot, roll onto the right side, just one side crunch here, plant the left hand, reach the left foot long, pushing yourself up, Parvrita Janu Shirshasana, bend the left knee, reach over the left leg, push into the left heel, plant the right hand, lift the hips, lift the left leg, bring elbow to knee, feel the body contract, feel all that support and keep it as you lengthen back out. Option now to just open the front of the body a little bit more and reach back, but make sure it's not too much on the low back. And then slowly release, hips down, left hand plants, sole of right foot, hops over the right leg, tuck back toes, push down into the feet to rise up. Reach the hands forward, kick into the heel, feeling all that power at your center. And then bend into the front knee, let the front of the body open while keeping all that control and support. Arms to T, twist open to the left. Lift the back knee, spin the back heel down. Pause for just a moment of stillness in Virabhadrasana 2. Connect with your breath flow. And then turn the left toes out. Let the right toes come in a little bit and shift the hips from side to side in goddess pose. Feel free to lift that left heel if you want to get a little bit deeper in that left leg, left hip. And then place the left heel down, turn the left toes in, and then shift the weight again in Virabhadrasana 2. When you're ready, shift all the way over the right leg, lengthen right arms overhead, and let the left hip drop slightly, Virabhadrasana 3. And then pull the elbows down and lift the left knee up. This time, cross the left ankle over the left thigh. Let the hands drop, and we'll take some figure 4 chairs. So start to bend the right knee, letting the hips sink back a little bit, and reach the arms forward and up. So there's a sense of the torso lengthening. And then lengthen right leg, drop the hands. Take a few pulses here, and don't worry about getting a really intense stretch on the left hip. Instead, feel your breath, feel a sense of support in the pelvis and the back. And the next time you come up, let the left knee lift. Reach hand and foot apart. Pause in Virabhadrasana 3. And then drop the toes, drop the left hand, and start to twist open to the right. Option to drop the left knee or keep it lifted. We'll circle the right fingertips forward, up and back. You can add in extending the leg if you liked it when we did it before. Bend the right knee, slide the left leg through, twist to the right, and then right ankle over left thigh, and start to bring the left knee in. And then you know the options here. So you can just play and rock, or you can lift the hands, or you can lift the foot. It's hard to do all of them, so do just hands or foot if you want. And then uncross the legs, take a few waves over the legs. Notice how much faster we got through the sequence as your body is learning these movements. You can slowly unfurl the spine until you're on your back. And just take a few deep breaths. And again, just scan the right side of the body. Notice anything opening, any sense of spaciousness, or not. Maybe you feel tightness somewhere, and pay attention as we move through the next side, making sure to not build on that, add to that. Drag the heels back, press into the hands, let the hips lift, and then shift the weight from foot to foot, letting the pelvis sway. Release one vertebra at a time. Slowly let the knees drop open to the side. Fingertips behind ears. Roll up to center. Roll up to the right. Knee lifts towards elbow, and then other way. One more each side. Back to center. Arms reach up, windshield wiper. The legs really lengthening the top of the body. Next time the knees go to the left, press into the right foot. Rolling onto the left side, elbow to knee. Plant the right hand, lengthen the right foot out, push up, and bend the right knee, reaching all the way over the right leg. and left hand behind you. Lift the hips, option to add in that crunch, and then lengthen and let the front of the body open a little bit more. Just check in with the low back here. Sometimes that's not kind to everyone, so don't do it. Hips down, let's do that one more time. Bend the right knee, reach over. Roll up, lengthen. Side body crunch, and then let the body open with support. And then hips down, right hand behind you, left foot jumps over the right leg. Press down into the feet, tuck the back toes, rise up to neutral, and then power the hands forward, power into the heel to activate. Bend into the left knee, let the spine unfurl, ha, Anjane. And then arms to T, open to the right. Lift the back knee, spin the back heel down, and just pause. Virabhadrasana 2. And then push into the ball of the right foot. Let the right toes turn out. Let the left toes adjust. Shift your weight from side to side. And now you have the option to come onto the ball of the right foot as you shift. Just make sure there's a sense of support through the back of the right hip, and it's not all in the groin here. Imagine your right sit bone drawing towards the right heel a little bit. Feel the support of the hamstrings. And then let the right heel turn down and out, returning to Virabhadrasana 2 with that sense of shifting. Next time you shift over to the left, reach the hands long, let the right foot hover, and then bring the knee up and the elbows down. Pause. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and then sweep the arms up as you sink the hips back just slightly. Take a few pulses here. Just notice support in the hips. Notice any sensation in the right knee. If it's too much, don't sink the hips back so much. Stay a little higher, more like Tadasana with the leg crossed over. The next time the hips sink back, just pause for a moment, breathe, keep swaying, make sure nothing's locking up. And then elbows down, knee up, reach the hands forward, kick the foot back, bend the left knee, Virabhadrasana 3. Take a couple of breaths, and then set the right toes down, set the right hand down, and start to reach left fingertips forward, up, and back. Option to kick into the left leg, lengthening the left leg as the hand reaches up and back. Then bend and extend. Beautiful, everybody. Bend into the left knee, press into the right hand for support, glide the right foot through, and then twist to the left. Left ankle over right quad. Just massage through the hips or play with the core, letting the hands lift or supporting yourself with your hands, letting your foot lift. I think this one's my favorite option. I should have just only given you this option. And then uncross the legs, bend the knees, let the spine release forward, and kick into the heels, slowly letting the spine come back up. Let's move extra slow here. The sequence got faster, so we need a little reminder, I think, sometimes to slow down and feel more. And the next time you slowly roll up, let yourself just keep on rolling back until you're in Shavasana. Okay, friends. Last round. It's going to be the easiest round, right? Because you know it so well. Your body can support you with minimal energy. If you have a block or a folding chair, it is this round that you're going to be using it. They should be near your head, so feel free to adjust them right now. If you have two blocks, because I know some of you fancy people do, you can place one on either side of your head. We're not going to get to it just yet, but they'll be ready for you when we're there. So we'll start with our hammock. Drag the heels back, reach hands towards heels, slowly letting the hips lift, and just Take a gentle sway and notice a sense of support in the front of the pelvis, the sides of the pelvis, the back of the pelvis. And then release the spine down. Let the knees start to fall off to the side with control. Fingertips behind ears. We'll just do one crunch up to center and then one frog crunch to the left. One frog crunch to the right. Back to center. Release the head down. Reach arms overhead and take one windshield wiper either way. And then we'll all windshield wiper to the right. Roll all the way onto the right side. Hug left elbow towards knee really gently. Plant the left hand, reach the left foot long, coming up to seated. Bend the left knee, reach over. We're just going to go through this one part one time. So take it really slow and just feel all of the support in the legs and the pelvis. Option to add that crunch in, feeling the left side of the body contract, and then lengthen the left side out with control. And as the toes touch down, let the front of the body open. Let the left hand reach overhead or back slightly. And then hips down, left hand down, jump over the left leg. Slowly rise up. And then reach hands forward, kick into the heel, centering, and then bend the right knee. Anjaneyasana with support wrapping around the spine. Arms to T, twist open, lift the back knee, pause in Virabhadrasana 2. Adjust the front foot, make sure that knee feels supported. And then left heel in, left toes out. Take a moment in goddess pose. We're just doing it this round and on the other leg. So notice if you can sink the hips a little lower down and still feel supported and not feel it too much on the front or the back, but rather just everything opening in unison. Yeah, nice. And then turn the left toes in, but keep gliding the hips from side to side. And when you're ready, reach over the right leg, let the left leg lift, Virabhadrasana 3, and then left knee up, elbows down. I guess I really misgauged where the blocks would need to be. So put the left foot down and grab your support system and let it frame that front foot. And then pretend that never happened and return to your crane pose. And cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And reach the arms out to T, because that can help with balance. And we're going to play with toe stand. This isn't going to be for everyone. So stop when you need to stop. Don't force anything. Let's take a moment in that seated chair, right? So the hands reach forward, the hips reach back. And then allow your body to start to fold forward, bringing your hands either to the block, or if you had a chair nearby that you wanted to rest your hand on, that's okay too. And so this is awesome. And you can stay here, you can lift your hips and fold forward, and you can just play between these two poses. If you feel like you want to go a little deeper, hug the ankle and the thigh together and really notice a sense of support on the back of that left hip and the back of the right hip. Let the right heel start to lift as you lower the right glute towards the heel without dropping it onto the heel. Find a drishti, take a couple of deep breaths, and push down into the right foot so there's a buoyancy in the pelvis. If you want to play with balancing, you can open your arms to a T, or bring your hands to your heart, or keep your hands on your block. Lots of options. And then I personally do not like to lift my hips back up from here, so I recommend uncrossing the leg and then just slowly letting the hips lift, letting the spine melt forward, and just wagging your tail from side to side. Option to place your hands on the blocks. It's kind of nice. And as you let the hips rock from side to side, just notice how the sensation moves across the back of the legs. The outside, the middle, the inner thigh. And then Release the hands down, step the left foot back, plant the left hand underneath the left shoulder, and now we have that option for our modified Parvrita Trikonasana, just like we did before. Right hand reaches forward, up and back. Option to extend the leg, and option to hold for a moment and just breathe. We've done a lot to open up the outside of that leg and the hip rotators. Just breathe into that space. And bend the left knee, plant the hands, move your props off to the side. They'll roughly be in the middle of the mat. Power into the left hand, slide the left leg through. This time we have the option to cross right leg over left for Urdhva Matsyendrasana. Place the left hand to the knee, place the right hand behind you, and push down into the hips to lengthen the spine. Slowly twisting the spine from the bottom up, twisting to the right. Take a few deep breaths here. Imagine the breath massaging the spine. Full breath presses the lungs into the rib cage. And just feel that little massage from the inside out. Gaze towards the right if it's okay on the neck. And then we don't really need to do this again, the figure four thing. If you want to, you can. Otherwise, you can just go right into the waving Paschimottanasana. We've done enough for that right hip. And as you wave forward, feel free to stay in the forward fold as long as there's no tension in the back of the legs or the low back. And if you're staying in it, let the breath be the movement. Take a few really deep breaths, just noticing any sense of opening through the back of the body. You can gently sway here to explore all three of the hamstrings. And whenever you're ready, but no rush, you can slowly roll up and come to the back. But if you're enjoying this, stay here. And just pause and breathe. And again, that was a lot on the right side of the body. So just notice the work you've done. And this is our very last round. And so just take a few deep breaths to open up to what's possible, having the most support in the body, the most ease of movement, the most enjoyment of your body, maybe. We'll start by dragging heels back, reaching hands towards heels, letting the pelvis lift, swaying gently from side to side. And then setting one vertebra down at a time, letting the knees slowly open off to the side. Fingertips behind ears, roll up to center, roll to the right, knee lifts, roll to the left, knee lifts. Reach hands overhead, windshield wiper to the right. Windshield wiper to the left, push into the right foot, rolling onto the side, right elbow to knee. Plant the right hand, lengthen the right leg out, and then bend the right knee, melting over the right leg. Kick into the right heel, plant the left hand, slowly let the hips lift. Option to bring right elbow and knee together, and then let it unfurl, and notice if after that the spine wants to open more. And do that one more time. Hips down, knee bends, reach and unfurl. And then hips down, hand down, hop the left foot over the right. Slowly rise up and then kick into the left heel, reach forward. And then bend into the left knee. Push down into the left foot, letting the front of the body open. Cactus arms. Take a breath to the heart. And then arms to T, open to the right. Lift the right knee. Spin the right heel down. Pause and Vira 2. And then right toes out. Shift the weight from side to side. You don't have to go lower. Just play with what feels the most interesting to you. You've done this a lot of times. The hips have gotten stronger. Nice. Yeah, let the music inspire you. And then turn the right toes in. And keep shifting the weight in Virabhadrasana 2. And then shift the weight over the left foot. Reach the arms long. Right knee up, elbows down. And then cross the right ankle over the left. Yay, now the props are actually in the right spot. So feel free to place the props at either side of the foot, about 6 inches ahead of the foot. And then come back up and just take a couple pulses in your figure 4 chair to establish support in the leg and the pelvis. And we want to feel this supported all the way down, so there's no collapse at any point. Reach the hands to the block. Option to play with lifting the hips here, letting the head melt forward, and then bending the knee to point the head forward and up. You can just play with a couple of pulses there. If you would like to try for toe stand, slowly start to push down into the ball of the left foot. Let the hips slowly lower, and you can put weight into your arms so it's not too intense on the left leg. And try to keep the body upright and power down into the leg so that left glute feels really supportive as it stretches. You can stay right here or find your drishti and play with bringing the hands to the heart. Whew. It's playing because it's fun, right? And then when you're ready to unfold, just uncross the top leg, place the hands to the blocks, and slowly let the hips lift and the head melt. Take some breaths into the hips. You can sway them from side to side or do something else. Some bear twists. And then when you're ready, place the blocks off to the side. Plant the right hand, step the left leg back. Reach the left arm up and just take a few circles towards the left leg. Option to extend the left leg and pause in Parvrata Trikonasana. We're doing a modified version with the back heel up. And then when you're ready, step the right leg through, cross the left leg over, Urdhva Matsyendrasana. Twist towards the left and allow the spine to lengthen as you twist up and over to the left. Take a few deep breaths. And then slowly untwist. Allow yourself to just float back to center. Option to skip any more figure fouring and just go right into our slow Paschimottanasana waves. Again, you can pause and just breathe, just rock, whatever is most inviting to you. And then press into the heels to slowly release all the way onto the back. And just pause, noticing hopefully balance between the right and the left. Any sense of inner movement or opening. And we'll just have a couple of postures to cool down before we meditate and take Shavasana. Drag the heels back, reach hands towards the heels and slowly press down into the feet to lift the hips. Make sure the knees feel supported. You can try walking the feet a little wider. If you'd like to go a little deeper here, you can interlace the hands and slide the shoulder blades together underneath the back, reaching the knuckles towards the heels. I recommend staying soft. Just gently swaying the hips, breathing into the front of the body, letting the front of the hips open. And then release the hands, release the spine. If your music is close, it's a good time to hit pause. You can start mellowing out. Keep the feet where they are. Just slowly let the knees open. Modified Baddha Konasana. Just pause here. Reach the arms overhead. Take a few deep breaths, letting the hips open with control, not letting the knees just drop out completely. And then very slowly, keeping the feet where they are, just windshield wiper the knees towards the right and lengthen the left knee away from the left hand so that whole left side of the body can open. Take a couple of breaths. If you want a little bit more here, you can cross the right ankle on top of the left thigh, but just make sure it's not too intense in the left knee or left hip socket. And then we'll do that same thing to the other side. So knees drop over to the left, lengthen through the whole right side of the body, and then option to cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Just check in with the right knee. Make sure there's no pressure, especially on the inside of the right knee. If there is, lift the right thigh towards the foot a little bit more, activating the outside of the right leg. Breathe. And cross the legs. And if there's anything else the body wants to do here, be my guest. I personally don't want to hug my knees into the chest because my hips have had enough flexion. So reaching long is a good idea. Or rolling onto one side and just gently massaging that side. And then just make sure to roll to the other side. Christy's doing a fish pose. That's a good idea. You're welcome to copy her. And take your time, but we will come back up to seated for a few minutes of meditation before Shavasana. And just try to feel your pathway up to seated, just like you felt all of the movements throughout class. When you arrive, notice any sense of openness in the hips or support in the spine without you having to do anything or tell the body to do anything. And just take a few deep breaths into the space you've created. And the body is amazing and it's magical and fun. But now we can let go of being encased in our body. And just take a few deep breaths and imagine the lightness of your breath is helping you expand beyond your physical form. You might feel where the legs and hips make contact with the earth, a sense of grounded, stable energy. But as you breathe, just imagine you're starting to float above all of that, letting go of the body in its most perfect state, your post-yoga bliss. Letting go of any thoughts. And just connecting to the flow of the breath. Let the forehead soften. Let the jaw soften. Even let the heart soften. And the body is mostly space. And so we're just letting all the solids fall behind and connecting to that vast, endless spaciousness that always exists inside. Every breath is an opportunity to open a little bit more, continuing to release the body, the thoughts, even the emotions. And just keep harmonizing with the breath and the spaciousness that exists within. And you're welcome to keep practicing upright for as long as you wish. You can also gently transition to Shavasana. As you keep harmonizing with the breath. If you need an anchor in the body, you can focus your attention at your heart. A sense of spaciousness can fill the whole body and also expand the size of the heart tremendously. Allow the breath to ever so gently deepen. And see if you can simultaneously feel that vast sense of expansion inside the container of your body. And just take a few deep breaths for those to come together. You can be fully grounded and awake in the body, while still being very open and expansive. If you're still reclined, just gently make your way to seated. And we'll all meet with hands at heart center. And we'll close in chanting 3 ohms together. And you guys are all muted, so you can just chant as loud as you want and no one will know. We'll take a deep breath to chant. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Namaste.